morning, everyone. First of all, thanks for the invitation at the CBC CAT and to come back again to the Democracy of All event. It is a real pleasure. My name is Ignacio Alamillo Domingo. I will be talking these few minutes about how Web3-based decentralized identities can revolutionize and is already doing this education. Here you have just a few slides from my bio. Maybe the most interesting related to what we need to discuss today is that I've been working the last 3 years as an expert for the European Commission, helping building the European blockchain services infrastructure. And I'm now working as an standardization expert in trying to create a technical specification for the European Union regarding decentralized identity management based on DLT. And I'm focusing some efforts as well in precisely leading this work as well in ISO. So we plan not only to do it in a real world environment, but to be able to use it as something valuable for standardization and to get something that works on a global scale. Going into the details of what I want to discuss with you today, of course, the last 3 years we've learned that the SSI approach, meaning that we can give back the user with control over their identity data, has already provided a lot of benefits. The SSI approach, which is being built in the European Union as well, offer a set of properties that will help digital transformation in a lot of processes. In this case, because we are discussing today about the competence and capability principle of the good governance around blockchain, this is particularly relevant. In this sense, with SSI, we get more personal autonomy, we get enhanced privacy, we get back the control over the data, which is our holding, and it will allow us to get this information, store this information, this identity information on our digital identity wallets. We will be able to decide which data we want to share, with whom, when, and with what limitations. In this sense, there are a lot of SSI approaches. Right now in the European Union, we're discussing approaches that are based on the Web3 paradigm and other approaches. So it is not yet clear in the European Union whether we will be having exclusively an SSI approach based on blockchain. In my personal opinion, this would be the best approach to enhance really personal autonomy. So, but it is up to the member states to decide what kind of digital identity wallet approach do they want to adopt. In my case, I personally believe that decentralized identity management should be fully aligned with the Web3 paradigm, because this combines the benefits of having personal control over our identity in our personal wallets, in our mobile phones, for instance, with having decentralized storage approaches to allow distributed apps to consume educational data. And this is one big problem we have in practical terms. Today, it is not feasible for us to get access to the universities and to other educational institutions and private companies offering professional qualifications. We can easily access these data sources. We can't easily get electronic versions of these documents. We cannot easily share this with anyone. And this is a problem because we are living in a world where professional qualifications are based in a lot of approaches, not in all cases based in higher education institutions. And therefore, if we are not able to solve the big issue of interconnecting all these original authentic sources for educational qualification, if we don't solve this issue, we will not be able to use this information in real-world processes. Therefore, it is of paramount importance to have blockchain-based systems for asserting educational capabilities and professional qualifications. And this is one of the most important projects in the European Union when it comes to blockchain. The EBSI, the European Blockchain Services Infrastructure, in fact, has delivered results, particularly in the field of professional qualifications and educational qualifications. Therefore, it is something that it is already there. It is not a theory. It is not an experiment. It's something which is real right now. But of course, it's based, and it must be based always in a trustworthy ecosystem. Therefore, we need to review, and we can review, because this is the infrastructure that is offering these opportunities, what we are doing in EBSI in the European Union. Of course, I'm not an official representative of EPSI. This is only my opinion. I will then send it to you back to the website of EPSI, where you can have access to all the information and you will be able to form your own opinion. Okay, the things we've done the last 3 years in EPSI include precisely the issuance of verifiable credentials, this special data type that will allow us to get this information about us. For instance, the fact that I have a PhD on law issued by a Spanish university. And for this, we needed to create a set of tools that are at the disposition of the universities. In this case, you can see how we plan to make verification of professionals' qualifications really easy. This is one of the important use cases in EPSI. It is called the diploma use case, but it covers other types of professional qualifications as well. Here you can see the actors. You can see the university as an actor, which is a kind of user of the EPSI infrastructure. This kind of actor will have an enterprise wallet installed in the university systems, for instance, to be able to issue professional qualifications and diplomas to the wallet of the users. For this, it was really important to have standards. So EPSI has not only created a real infrastructure, but has contributed to create the standards for representing digital information for educational capabilities and to send this to the users to have it under their control. As you can see, EPSI has adopted the SSI approach. In this case, here you can see the issuer, which is the educational organization. You can see any third party. It could be an employer, for instance, requiring a person to prove some professional capabilities, for instance, a diploma on blockchain capabilities. And in the center, we have the user. The user has a wallet where the issuer sends these educational credentials. The holder will store them, and then he will be able to share one credential or a set of credentials to share the data which is appropriate for allowing the verifier to check that this person has these professional capabilities. So what we've done in EPSI really is to define the full process. We've defined the infrastructure. We have defined the standards. We have defined the way we represent that information. And we are, in fact, right now working in defining the legal effect for ensuring that these credentials do actually substitute the paper versions of the academic diplomas, which is the real objective of the initiative. So here you can see how a blockchain is actually providing value for this use case. There are other approaches which would not be using blockchain at all, but we believe that using blockchain is the best way to, in this case, to have a register of educational service providers that will be used by the verifiers to verify that this educational credential is authentic and it has not been forged. So the value of EPSI is not being a provider between the issuer, the university, and the employer, but to provide the infrastructure based on a blockchain service, a regulated blockchain, to be able to give a level of assurance regarding the authenticity of the credential. And to this end, what we've implemented in the blockchain is what we call a trusted issuer registry, which is a decentralized database written down on the blockchain where we can certify that a university has been authorized, for instance, in this case by the proper administrative authority in the member state, to issue this kind of diploma. And this is really important because, believe me, if you are in Spain and you receive a Greek diploma, a diploma issued by a Greek university, the first problem you have is to understand Greek. So you need to translate the document, and then you need to certify the authenticity of the document. This is a very expensive, very slow process. Using verifiable credentials, we substitute any need to legalize paper-based documents per a consultation into the blockchain. So if I receive this diploma from a Greek colleague, and I am an employer, I can immediately know that this Greek university actually exists. It has been authorized to issue diplomas, and in fact, it has been authorized to issue this specific type of diplomas. So you can now imagine how we can expand this for any kind of educational service providers, including private service providers, which are right now completely out of the business. This is why we are including this initiative around the EIDAS2 regulation proposal. In this case, there will be different types of entities being able to issue trustworthy credentials. In the educational space, we envisage universities, but also academias, even private academias, to issue this kind of professional qualifications. I've talked about the ledger. Of course, in EPSI, we needed to deploy a blockchain. In fact, we have 2 blockchains. In this case, this is based on a Hyperledger Bezier blockchain, an Ethereum-style blockchain with Saltini 2.0 consensus protocol, meaning that we use proof of authority. This is quite technical, but it is important to understand that in this case, in this type of blockchains, we don't have proof of work, so we don't have any mathematical proof of the validity of any inscription on the blockchain, and therefore it was really important to regulate who can actually write on the blockchain. So this is a public permission blockchain, and therefore only authorized institutions can write anything within the ledger. And secondly, we needed this ledger to be trustworthy. And to this end, and this is a big novelty, we have proposed in the EIDAS2 regulation to regulate ledgers as true services. In this case, we have created the concept of electronic ledger, which is a technological neutral concept for a ledger, and it includes centralized ledgers and it includes decentralized ledgers. And the novelty is that when you have a qualified electronic ledger, in the sense that it fulfills a set of criteria and technical and organizational requirements, then you will be benefiting from a legal effect. This means that we have created 3 legal rules. First of all, any ledger should not be discriminated, meaning that you have the legal right to go into court and to try to prove whatever you can. This is of paramount importance because right now we don't have this rule. So you could find a judge saying, okay, I don't like blockchain, so I am not allowing you to go into court and try to produce evidence. So non-discrimination principle. Second one, we have created the legal effect that data records contained in a qualified ledger shall enjoy a presumption of uniqueness and accurate sequential chronological ordering and of integrity. It means that this idea of having a ledger explaining the sequence of legal actions will be recognized in the European Union, and this is supporting any action around the issuance and sharing of educational credentials. And finally, we create the rule that a qualified ledger should be recognized everywhere in the European Union. So the Spanish version, the Spanish notes, will be recognized as equivalent to German notes, for instance. This is really important because otherwise we cannot easily ensure the level of assurance we need to support the use cases. And finally, and this is just to point you out to the website of EPSI, for you to understand what we have already tested in several cases. I'm just copying here the 6 scenarios that had already been proven in the multi-university pilot in EPSI. This is going to be extended a lot when the European Commission approves the calls for the larger scale pilots connected with the European Digital Identity Wallet and connected with EPSI. But here you can see in a snapshot, and you will find more information on the website of what are we currently doing. And then you can start looking why this will change and drive innovation when the humans, we need to get this information, share this information. First of all, we've tested the transcript of records, meaning that a student gets a master diploma after receiving a transcript of records validated by Erasmus. So this is the case where the student goes into another country university, he or she studies there, and they get a kind of transcript with, okay, you have studied this issue, so you could integrate this experience into your origin university, so you get a diploma. Then we have the master degree, which is a classical case. We have tested a case which is called municipality credentials, where the student gets access to local discounts because he or she has a European student card, which is a really interesting one. We've tested a specific use case for the European qualification passport for refugees, which is quite aligned with the issue of the war efforts with Ukraine. And Ukraine, in fact, has been invited to participate as an observer to EPSI, proving that decentralization might be interesting in this context. And finally, you can find useful information about other types of credentials, like a license to practice, important, for graduate citizens and for micro-credentials. Okay, this is what I wanted to share with you. So I will be around for responding any question you have. Many thanks.